That was also awkward because here I am getting paid 5,500 Rand a month, working this random admin sales office job, but in their eyes, their mothers, their grandmothers watched Isibaya and they love the show and they love oh my goodness. I had already, I think, shot also that commercial. So everyone was just like, you're that girl. The name of my character's name is Gloria. You know, they were, you're Gloria. But I'm like, yeah, I'm Gloria, girl. How can I help you? Do you want to buy some VoIP? Do you want to buy... Do you need a generator? I got you.
Dump in the jump. Top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the field. Say vivid for the ears, I know that's how they like it. Yeah, I fantasize it. Tell me that it's real when it's all said and done. I said it how I feel it. I let them hear the fear of a passive aggressive. Angry black man with a passion. Steady grip while I shoot to the stars with a full clip. Jotting line with the loose leaf. Then I proofread till I lose sleep. Couldn't handle the truth when you're bed with the writing. Love at first sight, art over hype. Need a sound bite for the time capsule. Press play, they pause time for a bit. Smitten, I admit it, could they kick it. I'm in love with the fine print. Scribble type of think what they find behind it. Why there's visions behind the eyelid. Tell a reckless with the clauses. Careful, it'll cost me. Need it forever, but I never ever stop until they put me in the coffin or they off me.
Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the A1 with Moyin. Now, I am with actress and officially SAFTA nominated TV presenter Pali Tembe. How are you?
Hi, girl, you know, I think it's safe to say you're officially the first one to introduce me as such and tell me, or let me say, can I tell you? It feels really good.
Yeah,
it feels really
I am
good.
so excited to get into that because I want to know the exact moment it happened, how you felt, and like all the emotions, you know, going into the actual day of the award. Yeah. But I want to start from like the beginning. So essentially when you decided that you wanted to kind of venture into entertainment, when was that?
Always. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to sound like cheesy, corny or anything, but like dead ass. Everyone who's ever known me always knew Pali wanted to be this girl. In fact, if you like rewind back to my audition tape for Presenter Search on 3, the year I won in 2018, I think like the brief was like our audition link has to be about you. Like make a link about yourself. It has to be at 1 minute. You know how they're 1 minute long. Make sure you can walk and do it and talk and hit the spots. Girl, I think if I remember correctly, a section of my link was, I've always wanted to, ever since the age of 3, I've been a dancing diva. I've always like been dancing in front of the television. That was me. And my brothers were like, Palis, like, can we see Michael Jackson do it and not you? Like I was that girl, rock the boat, rock the boat. I was like, so I've always wanted to, I think it first started as just entertaining. I loved the idea of taking people out of their reality, whatever they're going through in life, transporting them. I think maybe it's because I'm such an escapist. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I like to get away, honey. I like a good vacay. But obviously, sometimes, especially going through life and school, coming up, you can't do that. So I just would love to watch a movie, watch a series. And we grew up in the pop culture era. Like when we came up, okay, of course, there were Marilyn Monroe back in the day. There were politicians who ended up being celebrities like Martin Luther King. But within our generation, we were watching honey, we were watching Nickelodeon. We were out here. So I think with the exposure of that, coupled with just always loving the limelight, like I was really that kid. My grandmother would always say after, like, I think I started ballet at like 3 years old. My grandmother would be like, what did you learn today? And I'd be like, gladly, I will happily show you what I learned today. I've just always been that kid, you know. Me and my cousins would be like a girl group of 3. I can tell you stories until I'm blue in the face. I've just always known. When I was 2 or 3 years old, I think 2 years old is a bit young. I was probably like 3, 4. Just when like a kid learns how to speak properly and like construct sentences. We used to live in Pretoria, and that's where I went to primary school, pre-primary school. Irene pre-primary school, and we were out with my family and my mom and my dad, and we went for lunch. Apparently, I spoke the entire lunch, the entire time, like that a neighboring couple who were on a date, after they settled their bill, they came over to our table, gave me 2 rand and said, girl, you entertained me, and I think from there, that was my first paying gig. And I think as we came up in life and as we develop as people, you start opening up your brain. And I think when we were young, continuity presenters were a real thing. Simunye continuity presenters throughout those public platforms, we really did, start really accepting and celebrating personalities. So ever since then, girl, I was like, sign me up.
That's where I want to be. That's what I see. That's my future right there. But you actually started off as an actress. So
a lot of people don't know that, actually. Yeah.
And so, okay, so here you are. You've known since day one. It's been clear. Everyone's like, listen, this is where Pali's going. Did you study it? Did you study film? Like, what did you study in university?
Absolutely. I went to Rhodes University very, very purposefully because I knew that their drama department was internationally recognized. I always had in fact, so much so that Rhodes University was the only university I applied to. So if I didn't get in, it was late.
You like, you were okay. You were really set. You really were set.
Talk about taking risks, right, and having your eye on the prize. But I always knew, and I was like, there was no question for me. So, and I always knew, and I went to Thomas More College, a very, very small private school in the middle of Kloof in Durban, and not many people who come from my high school end up doing anything really in the entertainment industry. So, but what we studied in my drama class were incredible brains like Andrew Buckland and, real, authentic, organic playwrights like, Athol Fugard. And I just love that John Kani. I can go on forever. And these people that made such incredible work on a global scale, especially when the country was going through the most. I mean, we all know where we come from as South African history. I thought that, whoa, if I can do that through drama, through entertainment, through telling stories, sign me up. And I knew that Andrew Buckland, one of the playwrights and one of the great actors that I studied in high school, lectured at Rhodes University. So I was like, take me there, honey, take me there. And so many incredible talents have come from Rhodes University. So I was like, So absolutely, I did a Bachelor of Arts in drama and psychology. Those were my majors. And within drama, acting was my elective. And then after I graduated from Rhodes, I was like, yeah, pat on the back. I was like, ain't no turning back now. I am not going back to Durban. I'm going straight to the city of gold. That is what we've grown up knowing. Like, if you want to make it, you go to Joburg. So I was like, staying with family, staying with friends, anywhere I can get a couch, anywhere I can get a seat, anywhere I can get like a little, can I get the corner of your bed? I'm tiny, honey. I don't need much space. Please, and let me prove myself that I can actually make it.
But right now you're a TV presenter. That's what people know you the most for currently. Do you miss acting?
Yes. In fact, I'm plagued with these questions online. Can you I feel like Rihanna with the new album. You sitting on me here, bruh. You sitting on me here, bruv. Everyone's like, so when are we going to see you acting again? And I think soon. I yearn for it. I want it. In fact, so much so that I can say, you can kind of see a little bit of an actress within me, within my presenting, because I just miss it so much. I want to be someone else. I want to, the whole vibes, like I really, really want it. And, I'd be naive to forget or try downplay how huge the drama scene is in South Africa right now. Everyone is loving the telenovelas. There are great stories coming out of our country right now, and I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of telling someone else's stories, other people's visions, stepping out of myself, because yes, it's a whole lot of work, but that's why I studied it. So, do you know what I'm saying? That's why I paid to pave a way. I paid to pave a way through, and yes, I do also understand that there's so much within my industry that also needs to just be backed by natural talent. I'm not naive to that. I'm not, I acted alongside an incredible talent, Oloruntoba, and she Oh, I love her story. She was a nursery school teacher, like A, B, C, D, went to an audition, and now she's Oloruntoba. I know I'm simplifying her story. Everyone has hurdles, highs and lows, roller coasters, but at the end of the day, that's what someone like me takes home, that if it's meant to be yours, it will be yours. Even with television presenting, when I first moved to Johannesburg, within the first 6 months, I had already signed up, registered, and what's that thing when you go to a college and you enrolled? I enrolled into a short course, 6-month adult presenting course at a college or academy, I suppose you can call it, in Johannesburg, called On-Q Communications. Now, a lot of people from On-Q Communications have made it, but some people haven't. It's just about, I suppose. And I made sure, I'm competitive by nature. I made sure I was the baddest mamma jamma in that class. I made sure that all of the lecturers loved me, especially when we had guest lecturers. I was just I wanted to be a star pupil. So yeah, I've definitely committed into the craft that I'm doing now. I definitely always knew, and I put my money where my mouth is, and I decided to put time aside to sharpening my knives in this craft and making sure that I'm just good at what I do.
Yeah. So here you are, you've graduated from Rhodes, you head to the City of Gold, you're staying with family, staying with friends, you're staying with anyone who will give you the opportunity to house you while you're there. Where was the starting point? What was the first thing? Was it auditions? Was it an agent? What was it? Where? Because people always message us where do I start? Where did you start?
Oh my goodness. That is, when you go onto any website and they say FAQ, frequently asked questions, in my life, that is my everyone's like, how did you make it? Mm-hmm. What is your story? And you know what? I like to always say, first of all, there's no manual. There is no recipe. There's no put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, sprinkle this, and voila. There's none of that. I have to say my journey is littered with anointing, littered with blessings, littered with God's grace. I always say I am a product of God's gracefulness. And I always say that focusing on God's faithfulness and not my own fear got me where I am today. So now let's just stop there.
We can just say Pali the preacher, put that as a new title, and then I'm just gonna let you have the camera and do your thing.
No, man.
But I love that.
But no, that's definitely the foundation of it all. But then with all of that littered on my back and from the crown of my head to the tip of my toes, with all of that, I still moved in with my cousins in Centurion. Shout out to Zagiti. And I was an au pair.
Okay.
I worked in an office job in sales, office automation. I was selling printers, honey, VoIP solutions, fast Wi-Fi to companies. You want a fax? I got you. I was that girl, honey, selling dreams, cold calling. Then I was like, if I can do this for a random corp, why can't I do this for myself? The hustle started. I went on to Google. So if you want to know where to start, Google, okay? www.google.com, search bar, agencies, top agencies in Joburg. Oh, I got the entire list. Did I not send my profile, my picture? At the time, the cousin I was staying with in Centurion, Uzagiti, thank goodness for her beautifully gracious heart, but she paid for those budget little studio photo shoots. Yes. She was pregnant at the time, so we were like, okay, kill two birds with one stone. You get a pregnancy shoot, I get a professional shoot. In fact, I think my Gmail icon picture is still that picture to this day. Fat little chubby Pali. Anyway, I'm making the story long. So we literally got the list. I sent those pictures. I sent my CV. I sent the work I did. And the work I've done was really just varsity work and high school work, mind you. It's not like I've got this extensive background in Johannesburg when I moved and tried my luck. Yes, I did get into a very good agency at the time, but you have to also remember these big agencies have their favorites. They have their people. I hate to say it, but they have their people that they've been working with for years. People who've been actually booked booked and busy, honey.
The ones who bring them the money consistently, because that's what
that
I've noticed.
25%, it's a real thing. They will favor that. And I don't blame them. I don't. This is all a business. This is a very competitive, cutthroat industry. And that's what I experienced. But mind you, I got my very first major commercial through them, so I thank them. But in the same breath, that's a whole other story about how I got that when it was already casted. The lead for that cast, things didn't work out. She had already gotten wardrobe, everything. The audition was the very next, the actual shoot was the very next day. I lied at work, said I was on a sales call, and I went to an audition at 2 p.m. I was the very last person to be auditioned. I needed to be in a bikini. I was in a full, as I am dressed now, like full office gear, auditioned, got the job, lost my phone. They had to call my roommate. How they knew my roommate was to call. She was my emergency contact. Yay! That's why I said anointing, favor, blessings, grace. But I did that. I Googled. I sent my work far, wide, my profile far and wide. For me to get my acting job on Isibaya as a support actress, I literally, in the credits roll, after like a bomb production, I was like, casting director, writer, randomly tweeted, DM tweet, hi, this is who I am. I would love to come read for you. Randomly off of credits rolling at the end of the show. Kept emailing. Luckily for me, I had studied, so I think he already saw seriousness within me. Said, come through, come do a read. Nothing came of that. It took 3 years for me to work. I auditioned for, was it Aye? That was a bomb production. Countless times for Isibaya. Countless times for The Road, I think it was called, The Road. The whole spiel. And finally, I didn't even have to audition when I finally got a role. I got a phone call and said, you've never actually landed a gig in Isibaya. And I was like, no, I've never. And he was like, perfect, I've got the perfect role for you. I specifically had someone in mind. I looked back in our books and you just sprung to mind. So do you mind taking this? She's this kind of girl. She's that kind of girl. And then I became Kim on Isibaya for 3 years. So grateful for that opportunity. So grateful for that work. But yeah, I miss acting so much. Yeah. And then I also landed that commercial, as I said. But mind you, that commercial was the only work I got through my agency.
Sure.
So there's also that.
Okay. Oh, I have so many questions. One, you email all these agencies. Did one sign you?
Yes.
Okay. So one brought you in. They were like, okay, cool, we're going to sign you on our books. That was the commercial that took place. And that was obviously not before Isibaya. So let's say in the early days, within that time of like the commercial and Isibaya, did you land other work?
No. So luckily for me also, which I have to bring back to God's timing, Isibaya and that job came in the same year. Okay. One was like in June, one was but that was like maybe 3 years after hustling in Johannesburg.
What is hustling in Johannesburg? I've never lived in Johannesburg.
Yeah?
But Chad, I've heard the stories. I go for work, so I go there for work.
I think every creative needs to just go to Joburg, just at least for a year, 6 months, and I grew in a way that you will never believe. I was so used to know. In fact, like, I think one thing about me, I always got a call back, but I never landed the role. Always got the call back, never landed the role. I was now like, I got so used to being the underdog, where I just felt like it was just my story. So it took literally 3 years, going from cousin to cousin, friend to friend, corporate job to corporate job, like literally working as a saleswoman. But then when I'm going to a sales call or to see a client, I was actually going to audition. Yay.
During that time.
Madness.
So how long was that? So that was 3 years.
That was 3 years. But also, I have to also say, Moyin, and I also think you can maybe identify with this. In the same time, in our come up from varsity days, the popularity of talent contests started to really gain traction. So I think my very first talent contest I entered was probably in 2000 and I was probably a second year in varsity actually, where, because I'm in varsity, middle of Rhodes University, I don't have a TV. I mean, if I want TV, I'm in the common room at Res. So, and then when I moved into Diggs, there was nothing like that. So my family had to be like, Palesa, MTV Base is doing VJ search in Johannesburg, Durban, these dates, you gotta get there, I see you there, you gotta do it. So they'd call me and they'd be like, listen, girl, the MTV Base VJ search, you gotta go there, I just see you doing it, you got the personality, you got the work, you know. I would literally book a Greyhound bus. Shout out to Greyhound City Line. In fact, I don't even know if there isn't a bus line I haven't traveled, to be fair. Book a bus, 12-hour drive all the way to Durban. Oh, no. I'd probably always start in Johannesburg. Audition in Johannesburg, or maybe make a call back in Johannesburg, but never make it to like the top 50. And then my mom would be like, worry not, book a very same bus from those auditions, because maybe the very next day they're auditioning in Durban. Then that's me again, going to Durban for the very same audition, the very same year. I try to take the critique, I try to take the whatever information that they gave me and apply it to the very next audition. From SABC 1 live amp auditions, girl, I was there at 4 a.m. in the morning. For me to have won Presenter Search in 2018, the 5th season, it was my second time auditioning for them. I auditioned for them in Presenter Search 2015, the year of Daniela Aquesto, Jade, and Jay, that whole group. That was my year as well. I thought that, I had made it. I had already auditioned for these public stations or channels, broadcasters, so often that this was my time. I didn't even make it. So, girl, there is no copy-paste formula. I can't even believe I'm still answering that question, but there's still no copy-paste formula for making it in the industry. Everyone's story is different.
So during those 3 years, what was the biggest insecurity that you felt from hearing the constant no's, working at a job that you didn't really want to be at, staying, at your friends' or family's place mentally? How did you handle that?
Sure, good question. I only came to realize after the fact. I really thought I was depressed. I think now that I was depressed then, but I didn't think I knew then. I really didn't think I knew it. I think because I'm a very bubbly personality, I'm always like, if you see me on the gram, I'm always, doing my thing. And I think I'd still carry that very same energy back then. But if I really think about time alone, time at home, time with those very same family and friends, I would be locking myself in a bedroom for like days on end, watching nothing but series on my laptop. I would not want to talk to anyone. I would not be in the mood. I'd go to work, come back. I'm forever complaining, forever crying. I'm a crier, so I've always thought that was normal. But I think sometimes it gets to a stage where it's more than just, letting things go and like taking the feelings off. Sometimes it actually just gets toxic. And I really believe that to a certain degree, I was toxic within myself, toxic towards myself. Luckily, I've always had a very good group around me who would always bring me towards myself. But it also took me bringing myself towards myself and being like, wake up, to the point where I ended up moving back to Durban. Packed up Johannesburg, I went back home. And that was 2016. And it was through moving back and forth, because I was still working on Isibaya, but my role was called less and less and less. And then I'm like, I know I'm good, man. Like, I know I can do this. I was also trying to hustle and push a YouTube channel called Revo TV, Revolutionary TV, with this small crew that I was working with in Johannesburg. His name was Zeph. He was like the main brains behind it. He was like, this YouTube thing is starting up. Let us get ahead of the game. Let's start now. Oh, girl, I can send you for some B-roll, for some overlay.
Please do.
let me tell you something, Queen. We come from far. But going back and forth from Durban to Johannesburg, like I would shoot there, I would do that, but honestly, nothing's biting. I know I'm good, but at the time, I always used to just think, I can't wait until people get it. Yeah. Can you relate? Because I know, girl, you've been at it consistently, putting in time, effort, equipment, quality, content. You've been doing it. So you're just like, when will people wake up and see what's right in front of them? Or will it be too late? Because I always knew I'd make it. I always knew that one day is one day. Always. But would it be an international thing that would pick me up? Would it be no, I would see the talent in Durban, and the talent in Durban is remarkable. It is, whoa, from music to acting to presenting. I think we've almost got dope people across the board, We're such great creatives, from writers. Even if you think of in South African context, at that time, people our age, you're competing with the girls that have been, they were probably child stars even, or they had a more privilege than maybe my background, or had already a foot into the industry. So it was very, very difficult. I found myself having degrees, having certificates, trying to get this, I was actually watching your conversation with Olusejo, ne? I was like, speak my reality, speak my truth, speak my truth. It is scary how many of us have the very same story. And it is scary how much there is no formula going back other than just going through it and being consistent and staying the path. Keep your eye on the prize, keep your focus as your focus, and not care about the no's that are around you. But it is not easy. As I said, I really thought I was depressed for a very long time. Questioned myself, questioned God, cried myself to sleep, huffing and puffing, throwing my toys out the cot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so this was while you were on Isibaya.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of it. Yeah.
It's so crazy. There's this saying by this other guy, Gary Vee, and he says that you can be 99% happy, but if there's that 1%, that 1% will haunt you. That 1% will be like, this isn't it. Because here you are, you're on arguably the biggest, or one of the biggest drama shows in the country at the time. Actually, it's over. And many would say, but look, you're an Isibaya. Yeah. Why are you complaining?
Yeah. And so many people who met me at that time, who are in the industry, especially in Durban, would meet me like, oh my goodness, how did you? But in my brain, I'm just like, what? Or maybe it's the competitive nature within me. I always want to be the best. I always want to be the girl, the one who's doing it, And yes, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I'm so grateful for the role. I'm so grateful for the way that they wrote the role. But I think maybe at the time, maybe I wasn't developed as much as I thought I was. Or maybe I was not as good as I thought I was. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe the timing was just wrong for me it wasn't my time to blow up. But as I said, the role probably was written in maybe once a month. And even that once a month, they'd shoot all my scenes in like one day. So the money isn't the same because I'm getting paid per day, per call. So it just wasn't everything I think everyone thought it was. And yes, a lot of the storyline at that time was centered around my character. That didn't mean that I was called in. They could talk about you, honey, but you don't get paid for them to say, I'm staying at Kim's apartment. So I think that was really the big challenge. And I was also seeing myself so much bigger than that. And I think that's what the danger or the challenge is with a lot of us creatives. We know our talent. We know what we're capable of. But when it's not biting, there's just a whole lot of frustration. So it doesn't matter how good you're doing in other people's eyes. But if you don't see yourself in that way, good luck.
Exactly. So were you still doing the sales job during Isibaya? So you're working the sales job. Yeah. What did they think about you being on Isibaya?
In fact, I don't even... they loved it. Wait, did they? Was it that time? Yes. So that was also awkward because here I am getting 5 paid 5,500 Rand a month working this random admin sales office job. But in their eyes, their mothers, their grandmothers watched Isibaya and they loved the show and they loved oh my goodness. I had already, I think, shot also that commercial. So everyone was just like, you're that girl. The name of my character's name is Gloria. You know, they were, you're Gloria. But I'm like, yeah, I'm Gloria, girl. How can I help you? Do you want to buy some VoIP? Do you want to buy... Do you need a generator? I got you. Like, it was so weird.
Yeah.
So weird. So weird.
You know, a lot... How do I put this? Okay. Yeah. So... when it comes to money and this industry, I don't know if anyone really prepares you for money in this industry, because here you are, like most people just think, you know what, I just need to book that job and I will at least be stable, you know, because you put a lot of money and time into investing, going into castings, that's money, going, you know, trying to get photo shoots so that you have like the most presentable CVs and portfolios and things like that. And now here you are on this incredible show and you still have to work your 9 to 5. Yeah. How financially, what was that stage like?
Crazy. It was disappointing, heartbreaking, weird, because it's not like I was good at the sales job anyway. I don't think I made one sale in the 3 years I worked in sales. You ain't laughing, but shout out to the bosses that kept me.
I love that. I'm sorry. That is you know what?
Forget making targets. I don't think I made one sale. I don't.
Oh my word. I love that.
It was heartbreaking. It was sad. It was humiliating having to go back home and ask the parents for money. It was bad. I was driving this rickety old Taz that got broke. Like, I think every week there was something different. It was like a baby who always needed attention. I did not have the money to pour into it. I couldn't even, there was a time where I finally got my own place. Had to move out of that place because I couldn't afford it anymore. Yeah, I'm telling you. Been there, done that, gotten several t-shirts. It is the most painful, confusing stage of your life, because you also think, I'm 24, I'm 25, I'm whatever. I should already have ABC. And it is further from your reality. And it's just about now having to align your expectations and your reality. Then moving into the entertainment industry was even more disappointing. Okay, I'm joking. but facts. But luckily for me, I think before I joined the teams I joined, no one ever pulled the wool over my eyes. I think I've just always been blessed enough to work with people who told me the complete truth, told me what to expect, told me and advised me as to how to maneuver and finesse the industry to make the best out of the financial situation for me. I think even for Presenter Search, one of the biggest wins of the night, not only were the actual challenge, like the actual shows, that were up for grabs, but it was also, there was a social media element, and it was the very first year that they had incorporated a social media element of the competition. Who can build their following, get the most engagement, who will attract brands, who will say, yeah, okay, here's where the money's at, you know, who's going to sell that to brands? And thankfully for me, because I had already started paying attention to it, I also won that. But I think with even them being that upfront and transparent, it already showed me that, hey, it's not just about presenting yourself well on camera, but it's also about making sure that big corporates, big brands also have their very same buy-in to this talent. And then I had to tap into now the salesman jobs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nothing's ever wasted. Nothing's ever wasted. Pali, you didn't make a sale. You didn't make a sale with that company, but here you are.
Yeah, it's so
and still
crazy.
Using the skills, I'm sure
yeah,
that you...
it's so crazy. And I'm not going to also lie and say I've got the finances down and packed right now. I don't. I'm still learning. There's still some months that I'm like, what? How? Wait, it was good just to, oh my gosh. What? How did I get here? I'm not going to lie. But
I fully believe that there is a huge financial training that entertainers need. Because firstly, in school they'll say you get this amount every month, you put this money aside, blah 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 blah, whatever. We don't get paid per month.
Can I tell you something? High schools need to have in their life orientation program how to do your taxes, how to claim for taxes, how to sort out and understand life insurance, different home insurances, different those. But give me practical life lessons. And I think that I love what school and education did for me. But there were certain life skills, whether you're a creative, whether you're a freelancer, whether you're working for the man, as they say. There are certain things that we're all going through that we all had no clue about until we became adults.
Absolutely. And COVID showed a lot of that. COVID showed that a lot of entertainers did not have savings, showed that they were living hand to mouth, even if they were earning a good amount per night after performances. That financial stewardship is something that I firmly believe still needs to be taught a lot. If it can be taught in school, that would be incredible. But I realized that as creators, you also have to take the personal initiative to learn those things.
And that's why I'm so grateful for the strong personalities and talents that are living and breathing and walking amongst us right now, who are challenging these big productions and saying, I'm overworked, I'm underpaid, I've got nothing, I've got no legacy right now to feed and give back to my kids, and I'm trying to work on other projects, and I'm so glad that these conversations are happening. They're not easy conversations. They're heartbreaking. They are tumultuous. They are putting the talent who's writing these letters at the end of the day in very vulnerable positions. A lot of them we see are still not working to this day. But in the end of the day, we're still having these conversations to make sure that our livelihoods in the long run are taken care of. I'm also grateful that the platform that I work with and work on open myself up and open the conversation up to creatives that are working within these spaces and say, how do you make sure that you have longevity within your career? How do you make sure that you've got a legacy that is going to be able to stand the test of time? How are you going to be able to make sure that you're not drowning in debt? How are you, these questions are being raised, and I'm saying thank goodness that we're a part of it. Yeah. We're part of the conversation.
Absolutely. So here you are, you've gone back to Durban. What do you think helped you emotionally? Because here you've gone to Joburg, you've technically booked a job that would be like people would just clamor about and be like, oh my gosh, that's a dream. But it's not what it is. You go back home, which is also emotionally because we're not kids. And you see friends, I'm sure, doing other things, achieving other things.
And mind you, even those friends and those families, you were the one that went to Joburg and made it. Now you're back home. Exactly. There was also that.
Yeah. What pulled you out of that?
Oh, girl, can I tell you something? Oh, good question. And mind you, it's looked different throughout the years. Even now, I've had to go back to certain practices through COVID that had to bring me to life because I was okay. So when I was in Durban, definitely I used to go to the beach and work out. I could not afford a gym membership, but there was definitely free space at the beach. and the lighting was the sun, the aircon was the wind breeze. I'm fine. I got you. I used to drop my baby brother off at school, and my dad was heavily ill at the time. So driving him to the hospital and back, and he needed exercise. So I'd say, Dad, hop in the car, we're going to the beach. If you don't mind, luckily my dad loves music. I'll leave the radio on. When the radio is playing, you just gonna sit in the car, listen to the radio. I'm gonna be working out in that hour. But after that hour, we're gonna get some ice creams and do a walk on the beach. I had to actively put thought into what am I doing on a daily basis that is not leaving me sitting at home, having pity parties, and also another thing that I always knew I've never questioned the fact that I'm going to make it. It was never been a question. It was just a matter of when. So me working out on the beach, me practicing monologues in front of the mirror, me doing all that crazy stuff that people would be like, what's that going to help? It's because I knew that when I needed to tap into those skills, they needed to already be benched. They already needed to be sitting there. They needed to be already, so that I just now switch on the generator and it just now works. It's second nature to me. So I needed to make sure that within myself, when I do get this break, Lord knows when it is, Lord knows what it is, but I need to be ready for it. So keeping my eye on that and not what's happening right now helped.
Love that. Okay, so here you are. You're at the gym. Are you reading things? What are you consuming? Because you know what you said about COVID kind of reminding you, hey, these are the things, tap into these things because these are the daily things that you need. And for me, I've realized that this is how I say it, what I eat, so not actual food, but what am I eating mentally? What am I eating emotionally? What am I consuming? Because that obviously affects my output.
I'd have to say for me, it's looked different in 3 different stages of my life. I've never been a reader. I'm not going to sell you dreams. Yes, I went to Rhodes University, which is considered Ivy League in South Africa, but I've never been a reader. I've always considered myself a lazy academic. However, in high school, I was blessed enough to be exposed to mind power, to be exposed to the realities that manifestation can bring into your life, what jewels and gem words of affirmation, what jewels and gem things like visualization and meditation can do for you. So from that intro, I think then the second phase of my life, I now actively relied on those things of writing out my goals, of having to visualize and say those words and use that mind power. I went to something called Think, Act, Grow. So I had to act it out for me to grow. And I kept revisiting that. That was when I was in corporate. Because I always knew where I wanted to go. So I said, let me do the work now. And then COVID hit. Before COVID, I have been very open about this, that it was not an easy start for me, even on the platform I'm on now, Afternoon Express. I actually feel like I was traumatized. I was told I was not relatable to the audience. People are just not connecting with me. And I can believe it because I wasn't confident within myself. I wasn't sure of myself. And then just as I started picking up the groove and the rhythm of it all, COVID hit. And that was about 2 years into my being on Afternoon Express and my presenting. But then just as things started to ease up into the industry, I needed to go back to work. But when I went back to work, I was now the only presenter on the platform. And that was the first time that has ever happened in the show's history. There's always been 2 or more presenters. So now I was still in my own mind, the girl that was not relatable, the girl that used to always fluff her lines, the girl that is dyslexic. A lot of people don't know that about how I grew up at home. In my schooling career, I always had to have an occupational therapist or someone and now that dyslexic girl had to tap into reading auto cue on a daily basis. Are you serious? Alone? Then I had to be like, okay, girl, game on. It's now or never. This is the opportunity that you've been building up to your entire life, and you have to make it count. That was when I was like, how did I get through it all the other times of my life? I used to go on YouTube, type in affirmations for the morning, visualization practices, trying to now remind myself of how to do it again, because your brain and your mind forgets how to do that again. When I do my makeup, because obviously with COVID, we had to do our own makeup now because there's no more makeup artists. So I thought, this is time to myself. Let me turn on a sermon on YouTube. Let me do my makeup. After doing my makeup, driving to work, I'd say a prayer. I'd pump myself with those affirmations, honey. Pump myself till I'm blue in the face, until I believe it. Because a lot of the time you're saying the stuff and you don't believe it. That I'm a money maker. I attract everything I deserve. The work I put in, I'm a light. Any room I walk into, I'm a force to be reckoned with. You know, all these things that people take for granted. The moment you need it, you're going to tap back into that same well, that same gold pot, and be able to do. So that's what I did. And that's how I was able to now be, I think, the strong person I am today.
So let's talk Afternoon Express. Did you audition in Johannesburg or Durban?
Durban. And I wasn't even going to audition.
Talk me through that.
I had planned to. So I'd already spoken to friends in the industry. You know, audition friends. The friends you always meet in the line. You always know every audition. You guys don't really go out for drinks. You don't go to see a movie. You guys don't text each other. But if there's audition, you already know. So I had audition friends. And we'd already spoken that, okay, we might see each other there. But that morning, I was just like, maybe if I do go, I'll just go for the afternoon slots when the lines have seemed to like die down. Even if it's 8 p.m., I'd rather do that. I woke up that morning and my friends were hitting me up. In fact, they woke me up. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. Girl, where are you? We've been out here since 2 a.m. We expect to, where are you? Are you still coming? And I'm like, oh no, guys, I don't think I'm going to make it. In fact, I was actually thinking the later slot. They're like, dude, if you don't make it now in the morning, you're not going to come. So don't lie to yourself. Come through. So I auditioned in Durban at 4 a.m. in the morning. I don't know if I've told you the story before, but when I pulled through, obviously the line was very well on its way around the block. And essentially, I would have been cutting in the line. I don't know if I'm exposing myself, but essentially what I would have been doing was cutting in the line. But my friends were like, I've got an idea. Bring us breakfast and blankets, and then we'll just act like it's the breakfast and the blankets, and you'll just kind of stay. You won't like ever leave. But I'm like, I'm going to have a full face beat, a whole dress, but okay. And team, right. My mom's car wasn't working at the time, and I had no way of getting to the auditions. My mom had to call an aunt who had like a double cab bakkie. A mess. It's my mom driving. It's my baby brother who's like my size sitting next to us. Then it's me with these breakfast and blankets. 4 a.m. in the morning. Finally make it there. See my friends. Cut in the queue. Maybe 3 hours whilst being in the queue, these girls realize that this girl has not left. Are they trying to pull one over on us? Do they not start bucking and fighting? Like Durban girls, like we don't play, like Zulu girl, we don't play that. Like we, yay, lalela ke, ungalinge nje usijwayele, ngoba nje ucabanga ukuthi nje uzofika la ekuseni sidala sifikele thina. That the whole shebang. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been here from the morning.
Oh my word.
Knowing 100% girl that I have not been here from the... what are you talking about? We go back and forth. My friends are also like, Ningas papel. It was a mess. The end words between this back and forth between me and these girls were, these girls said, I hope you win. For all of this that you're putting at the... I just said, I receive it in Jesus' name. My cocky, I can't... I don't know if that's arrogant or whatever. I was like, I receive it. I receive it, she says as she continues to. So yeah, I auditioned in Durban, and yeah, I was part of the Durban. I was the only Durban contestant to make it to the top 10 and present a search, and then fast forward.
So how long was it from leaving Johannesburg, moving to Durban, and then afternoon?
Okay, so I suppose I could say I moved back to Durban in end of 2016, maybe early 2017. I was obviously going back and forth from Durban to Johannesburg throughout the entire 2017 and beginning of 2018 because I was still hustling, I still wanted jobs, and I was still being on call for Isibaya, so I had to always be free to go up and down. But I actually landed my very last episode on Isibaya where my character, it was my friend's funeral. Girl, when they kill off your best friend, that's done for you. So I had to get the hint. It was at my friend's funeral on the show, and that last episode was in February. Presenter search, I think the finale happened in May. No, I'm lying. I think the first auditions were in April. They announced the winner in August. So it's so weird. Like, I think everything in my life, when it's quiet for like 5 years. And then when it happens, like in the same year,
everything keeps happening. Tell me that moment when you won. what was going through your mind? Obviously, I'm sure there was some level of like, oh my gosh, this is happening. But when it actually sunk in, tell me that moment.
So I think my journey on Presenter Search was, I was pretty much always like one of the ones to watch. Yes, my story's always been that of an underdog, always. But my year of Presenter Search was strong. We had some strong, 5 of us won, when 3 of us were meant to win. I think that goes to say that, but I always just thought, I kind of think I can do this. I actually kind of see myself. So other things, though, got into my way. During the finale of Presenter Search, I think a lot of people who might have followed the series or who are fans of mine or family and friends might know what happened. But the finale of Presenter Search was in Reunion Island. So it was like a destination challenge, a travel challenge, travel vlogs. So we needed to come through in that way. Babes, can I tell you, when everyone was now boarding the flights and they were busy checking in people, my passport, scan again, for me to get my boarding pass. They say, sorry, no, sorry, Lala. It says on the system that Home Affairs has flagged your passport. Unfortunately, we cannot allow you to hop onto the flight because this is not what's the word? This is not valid. This is not a valid passport. Good night and God bless. Next. Mind you, when this is happening, I'm having a conversation with one of the crew members who just has always been on my side, has always been a cheerleader of mine, who really just believed in his heart of hearts that I would win. So he's like giving me a pep talk. He's like, listen, if it's up to me and you are winning this. When he's telling me all this good news and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting amped. I'm like, yeah, this is my motivation. Hype man, here we go. Giving me that oomph I needed. She's like, sorry, this you can't. Fast forward, I got my passport. I think within 48 hours, I had everyone's number, from like the deputy general, head manager, vice deputy Jesus, all the way to the guy who prints passports in South Africa, to the guy on the motorbike, the delivery guy. Everyone's number to make sure I got it. There was a time where a lady was like, "What's your ID number?" I said, 90. It was a mess. Finally got to Reunion Island. So by then, I think I'm done for in this competition. I think that this company has probably booked 3 flights for me to get to Reunion Island. One was via Paris. It was a mess. So by the time I get there, I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated. This whole competition now is waiting on me. I finally get there. I had to do both my challenges in one day, the same day that the winner was going to be announced. As soon as I landed, I landed to an elimination, where obviously my group was in the bottom 3 because Balisa wasn't there. I'm telling you. It was a lot. So the moment I was announced as a winner, all those thoughts, all those emotions, all those feelings that had trickled not only through the 3 months of the competition, but just those 3 days. It was a lot. Mind you, I can go on forever, girl. It's just that my story, I think, is such a huge testimony. So the moment that they announced me as the winner, and the double winner of the social media element, and the actual one winner of Afternoon Express, tears. I think I ugly cried. Like my mom always says I shouldn't cry. I'm like Kim Kardashian when she cries. So I think I was like, it was their pictures. It's on the internet.
Sure. Wow. I didn't know that. Did I know that? Did I forget? I don't know. Who knows? But
girl, it's litty. Wow. It's bad. It was hectic.
But fast forward to you now getting announced as being nominated, SAFTA nominated as TV presenter on Afternoon Express. Did you see that coming? Honestly? Honestly? Because
I knew I was working.
Yeah, okay.
I knew I was working. I was purposeful when I was working. I had my eye on the prize. In fact, I don't know, you might want to get like a zoom in on this. But my alarm in the morning says, wake up, SAFTA winner, TV presenter, best category. It's been my alarm for the past 3 years. It's been my alarm for the past 3 years. Before I won Presenter Search, my alarm was wake up SABC3 presenter. Wake up SABC3. I hadn't even auditioned for Presenter Search. It was wake up SABC3 presenter, wake up. And then as soon as I landed the gig, then it was wake up SAFTA nominee. So when this year's SAFTA rolled around, mind you, I've only been a TV presenter for like 2 years. That is like kind of unheard of. But when this year rolled around, I was very intentional about paying attention. When are they announcing nominees? Like I made it my business. Every year, for some reason, I haven't, like obviously I've cared because I'm in the industry, but I haven't like paid attention where like I make it where I Google all the information. But this year, for some reason, I was just like really interested. I was like, when are they announcing nominees? When are they? Found out the information. I think it was initially meant to be announced on the 22nd of April, but then they pushed it to the 29th of April. So you see, to even know that jump, I was just, because I knew this is my business. It's my business. And then I was announced on the Expresso morning show. The producer of Expresso, Lena, she just kept saying, girl, wake up, it's going to be worth it. Wake up, girl, it's going to be worth it. And I said, it's on the 20, what, of April? I did my math. That's the same day. So I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't know for sure. And I didn't want anyone to tell me. I wanted it to be a surprise. The entire team kept it a surprise. And boy, if you watch it over again, it's all on the internet. If you watch it, you can literally see, I'm in the interview going, in what category? Like, I'm still... Lost my mind. I was so grateful.
Did you, because there's an application process.
Yes.
Did you apply or did the production company apply?
No, we at Cordova Productions did. But they do every year with all of their shows. I mean, Cordova Productions, a round of applause for just decades of absolute excellence, consistency in the game, always being front runners and the leaders of the game. This year we were nominated for 6 categories in the SAFTAs, and mine was one of the ones in Best TV Presenter. So, I mean, I'm with the winning team who knows what they're doing. So, it's not the first year that we've submitted. It's not the first year we've been submitted, but it was the first year I've been nominated. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I should check my facts. I think it was the first year Afternoon Express has been nominated, whether it's alone or through a presenter, being part of the conversation of the SAFTAs, period.
Sure.
As a fresh face.
I'm still shook by the 3 years alarm clock of wake up SAFTA nominated.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I still have it on now. I mean, I didn't win. But I ain't gonna change it.
But it shows such intentionality and such dedication.
Oh, I actually hope, like, if our editors even have it, during COVID, you are no stranger to this, but they're called noddies in the industry. Your reaction shots. So the editors will edit in someone going, And every single time I spoke to a guest of mine, trying to give them natural prompts so that they're just not saying yes to nothing, for me to just give them something to react to, I would always say, yes, nod that head. Those are SAFTA award-winning nods. Yes, that's our SAFTA award-winning nodder. I would just speak about it very flippantly, not even knowing what I was doing, what I was putting out in the universe, but sometimes knowing exactly what I was doing and putting out in the universe, and just hoping that one day is one day. Again, I've just always known.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay. So I got an email, by the way, for those watching, there's a link in the description bar below where you can nominate somebody in the creative industry or nominate yourself. That's perfectly fine. And we'll feature you on the channel, and also answer some questions you might have. But this particular one, we're going to get into in a second, but it was an email. I got an email about it. So if they can just bring my laptop.
You see, it's so nice to work here by the A1. We've got people who bring laptops, and the laptop. And I also want to work here by the A1. Okay, girl.
But while I get to this, I'm curious now with the success that you are having with Afternoon Express, but with the Hot to Still act. Where do you see yourself moving in the next, I don't even want to say year, like what's the plan? Because obviously you're somebody who is very intentional and dedicated and sets those goals. What's the next goal?
Sure, that's a tough one. Because it's a tough one because I really, really want to get back into the acting space, but I also know what it takes to get back into the acting space. I've said it before and I will say it again. South Africa has a very competitive acting, drama, soapy, telenovela industry, especially with someone with the brief like mine. I mean, Zulu, Xhosa speaking, young, black, this age group. I mean, it's throw a rock and you'll probably hit my brief. But I've always thought with television presenting, I want to do this and do it until I'm the best at it. And again, that's why it's also very serendipitous that I've been nominated as the best TV presenter, because I just used to always say, because everyone used to say, girl, you have to have multiple streams of income. But I used to also say, but I also don't want to do something half-heartedly. A little good at it, a little good at that, a little good at that. I want to be the freaking best, so competitive in this space before I move into the rest. I've been wanting now to move into the radio space, being very intentional about that, recording demos in groups, solo, doing all of that. Then again, because I don't know anyone in the radio space, randomly emailing, tapping back into that same girl who used to cold call, who used to see the credits rolling. Because I already have it within me. I mean, I wasn't embarrassed. Then who's going to embarrass me now? So let me just do that. So I think my thing is like, let me first be like extremely good here before I go back into that. Now that I feel like I've found my footing, now that I've found my footing within the TV presenting space, I think I'm almost ready now to go back into acting. Don't ask me how. I don't have a plan, girl.
And my last question before we get into this and wrap it up. Living in Cape Town versus living in Johannesburg.
I hate that you asked me this question. Next, pause.
Listen, I have to ask you. I have some other interviews lined up and y'all better get ready. Same questions coming. Because obviously everybody's like, entertainment, go to Joburg. Just do that, be that. You're not going to get much here. You're not going to, like, nothing's really going to happen on this side. What are your thoughts on it, and how has that, your journey, been affected?
It's a tough one. That's a very, very tough one, because I find that question coming up in my life every single day, to the point now where I can no longer run away from it. And that's why I had that, like, reaction when you asked me, because now it's like, okay, I'm dealing with this question. Now, previously, it hasn't really come up as frequently, which means, number one, I need to pay attention, which means either God or the universe is trying to tell me something. But in the same breath, I think that Cape Town still has so much to offer. And by saying that, there's no question that there are less opportunities, just physically, literally less opportunities in Cape Town, whether you try and make it for yourself or whether you just go the traditional route. There are just less opportunities. In Joburg, there's just so many more production companies, so many more channels, so many more connections, so many people doing it for themselves, so many more opportunities for you to do it for yourself. So I'm just at the stage now. Girl, you're making me say this on the internet. But I do foresee myself in the near future living in 2 cities.
Okay.
God willing, if the finances and those flights, honey, because they're not cheap, if those flights and the money of it makes sense, I 1000% see myself. Oh, I'm yearning for it. I'm craving it. I miss Johannesburg. Oh, I just get so excited, like even literally talking about it, like oozes out of me. The hustle, the bustle, the competitiveness of it, and also just those opportunities, the options in Johannesburg are just there. But Cape Town I'm so in love with Cape Town. I'm in love with the city. I'm in love with the vibe, and I'm in love with my job. I'm in love with my platform. I'm in love with what I do on a daily basis. But now I'm in a very privileged position where I've got more time off because the show has gone through a new change, a renovation, where the actual format of the show and the days of the week have lessened. So now I've got the time to do it. I've got the opportunity to do it. So I do see myself. I do see myself going back to Johannesburg. So Joburg producers, Joburg writers, Joburg creatives. Holla at me, boo.
Love that. I love that the response was, I'll live in 2 cities.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for now, in this stage of my life, for now, definitely live in 2 cities.
Okay, so I got an email, and actually I thought about this earlier today. I was like, you know what, we'll do this on camera and I'll get your feedback. So it's from Natalie Guerrera. Oh God, I hope I'm saying your name right. But she emailed me, and she's obviously seen that I do the A1, I TV present and all of that. And the question she has is the one that I want to throw to you. Okay. She says, I would like to know if you personally received any training of any sort in regards to presenting, whether on how to interview people effectively or how to speak well or voice training or anything that has helped you become a good presenter, even if it was just a workshop or online training.
Absolutely.
What have you done?
When I went to, first of all, I went to Rhodes University. I studied drama and psychology, acting, and within the acting elective, they also do work on vocal training, warm-ups, and how to use your voice as an instrument. But furthermore, when I moved up to Johannesburg because that was a very theatrical background, a very theatrical training. So when I moved up to Johannesburg, I always knew I wanted to be in film and in front of the camera. So then I also enrolled in a school called On Cue Communications. And that is an academy that does, I think I did a 6-month adult presenting course. Luckily for me, again, I had to Google that On Cue Communications Academy to find out which is the best of the best within the TV presenting space with the money that I have, that I can actually give for school fees, and then I worked there. After graduating and getting my certificates from On Cue Communications, practice makes perfect. I just found whatever camera I found, I would speak in front of it. Even when it used to be these VJ searches, TV presenting searches, these cross-country talent searches, I would always want to be the one in the line that they interview. I want to be, that was the way of practicing. Girl, you're about to go do it, so don't hide when the camera now comes to you.
Oh my gosh, I would so hide. I would be like, oh my gosh.
In the beginning, I would hide.
I would hide. I'd be like, literally, because like you said, we have those audition friends, right? So you knew the ones who would be like looking for the camera. Yeah, no, Tina, we're like,
Lalela. I think the first 3, 4, 5, maybe 10, I was like, to show how much I've done it. But then it got to a stage where it was like, but girl, this is what you're trying to do. Yeah. Be that girl, be that girl. So that was me also, just a small little preparation and planning. But then, also on a very serious note, so there was Rhodes University, there was On Cue Communications, and then besides just the practicing as we've now said on the side, there was also when I landed Afternoon Express. It's still not to say that when you got the job, you're good. My boss, shout out to Patience Stevens, because she makes sure that she gets absolute excellence, sending me straight to training. At the Waterfront Theatre, yes, we found you through a talent search because you've got it, girl. But now let us invest in who you are, in the talents we have to make sure we get the best of the best. She brings all of her presenters up through that. It doesn't matter who you are and the previous experience you have, but she makes sure, and I also took note of that. I took heed of that because even now, 5 years down the line, I need to resharpen those tools. So girl, in your email, 1000%. There's been formal training, and then there's this off-the-cuff training that you do.
Practice, and practice makes perfect. Pali, I've learned so much about you today.
It's a lot.
But it's great. And I think my respect for you has just gone to a whole new level. So thank you so much for this. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the knowledge that you so freely gave. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's next.
That's the question on everyone's lips. I think the thing about 2021, and it doesn't matter when people watch this, it could really relate to any stage of their life, is that you just sometimes never know what's next, but you always have to look with excitement. And girl, I am so excited for you because your journey has been something that I've paid very close attention to as well. We met on my platform, but girl, you're doing it for yourself. I was literally telling Moyin that during the Easter break, I was in Durban with the family, just, being a bum. And I decided to tune into your very new platform, your very new channel that is coming up. It's truly a beautiful Pan-African, celebrating all things African lifestyle. And you're killing it. I think your promo played 1,000 times, but each time I was like, shh. Congratulations.
Thanks, babe. I love that. Thank you
You're
so
so inspirational. And I think that, in fact, I was having a conversation with Bonnie Mbuli about you a few years ago, the first time I met you, and even the second time you came back. She literally, after we spoke and you had left, I was like, girl, you really love this girl. Talk to me, because she wears her feelings on her sleeve, and you'll know. She was like, I love her. She is a woman who has come from her background and made sure that she's made her mark in a South African industry, a South African landscape, which is almost unheard of. Congratulations. Godspeed. I cannot wait to see where this is going to take you, girl. And I'm so glad to be a part of your journey.
Oh my gosh, you guys, Pali's got it.
You deserve it.
Thanks, babe.
I'll see you at the SAFTAs next year.
Babes.
Ah, she's going to make me sweat. Woo!
Reclaim it. Reclaim it.